Ciney Bruin.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got one here from the, well, what is it? It's Alken Maes is the brewery. They're based in Belgium, but they are owned by, dare I say it, Heineken. And they have taken over quite a few Belgian brewers, or brew a few brands of Belgian beer, and this is one of them. This is the Ciney brand of beer that they have taken over. Now, Ciney is a region in the Walloon-speaking, French-speaking part of Belgium, and I found it really hard to get information about who this lot were before the Alken Maes Brewery took them over. Now, this was first brewed in 1978, as far as I can remember, and it's been owned by this brewery since then. And I know there was some takeover by Scottish and Newcastle of the Alken Maes Brewery, or is it Maes Brewery? I'm not sure. And then, in turn, Scottish and Newcastle were taken over by Carlsberg, and then, or is it Heineken? And somehow, basically, all this dodginess. It's a long line of dodginess. Scottish and Newcastle, Heineken and Carlsberg. And of course Scottish and Newcastle don't exist anymore. Heineken and Carlsberg obviously do. So there is still an element of dodginess in there. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, they're macro brewers. And you know what, all the connotations that come with macro brewers. It's all about profit with them. Yes, you do get the occasional good beer from a macro brewer, don't get me wrong. A lot of the time it's mass produced. It doesn't have the artisanal qualities of smaller breweries, and of course you have shareholders as well who want a return for their money. So there you go, all the connotations with that. Now, Carlsberg have just taken over Marston's. Marston's, at the moment, they're not a good brewer in my opinion. Beers are very bland. Some of them are okay, they're just drinkable. But the flavours, if you want flavour, don't go for a Marston's beer. Some of them are reasonably drinkable, but, if you want aroma, if you want flavour, give them a swerve. But with all that in mind, I really haven't talked this up, have I? Let's give this a go. Right, this is 7%. It is a 25 centilitre bottle, so it's even less than half a pint. What have we got in here? I'm looking at the ingredients. Water. The ingredients aren't even in English. Nope. It's all in French by the looks of things, so not going to get much there. This label looks very old. Now, I think they've changed the label. This is what the label looks like now. Oh, sorry, this is not what the label looks like now. It's different. That looks very old-fashioned. I think they've had a revamp on it. The sell-by date on this is 2022, so it's not that much out of date. Here's the cap. Looks like a Chicago Bears. No, it doesn't. It looks nothing like it. Twat. Let's get it home. Let's see what's going on. Now, I really haven't got much hope for this. I don't think there's going to be much aroma. I don't think there's going to be much flavour. Please prove me wrong. Wow, got a big whiff of sweet caramel malt there, so I could be wrong. But I have tried some beer from the Alken Maes Brewery before, and it does come across as a bit of a, well, where the macro brewers are involved, it lived up to that. I don't know what he's barking at. If someone dared walk outside of the house. Oh, this glass is filthy. Look at the state of it. That is not good. Fucking dishwasher. I know what it is. It's the stepdaughter putting her shit food in the fucking same drawer as all the other glasses that I put in there. There it is in ye olde glass. Very dark, foamy white head on the nose. Ethanol, sugar, and sweet caramel malt. It does smell very sweet. But to its credit, it does have an aroma. Now, I didn't think there was going to be aroma, but it is there. So yeah, it's got that going for it. Wondering whether they've put some sort of syrup in this. This is the kind of tricks that they play. Oh, that's not an E number. Please let that be a postcode. Oh, glucose. Yeah, they've put glucose in it. It's glucose syrup and hop extract. See, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Hop extract and glucose syrup. Now, don't get me wrong. You can use glucose syrup in beer, and the Belgians do use it quite a lot. But it's associated with cheaper beers, mass-produced beers. No self-respecting brewer of any stature would use glucose over invert sugar, for example. Of course, glucose is cheaper, and it has the sweetening effect, but it can be a little bit overpowering. I find with the candy sugar or the invert sugar that's used in Belgian beers and British beers too, it gives it a nice sort of bottle conditioning, nice bit of carbonation on it. But yeah, this doesn't smell good. Let's see what it tastes like. Bottoms up. God, it's very sweet. It just tastes like some spirit alcohol with sugar and a bit of caramel syrup. It tastes very syrupy. It's almost like the sort of soda streams that you used to get. Instead of putting water in it, they put ethanol in it. That's what it tastes like. And I don't think very much of it. That's all it is. It's just very sweet on the palate, some spirit alcohol, some cheap, sweet, malty, syrupy type flavour, and that's about it. It tastes like a macro brewed beer. And no, there's nothing really going for this. I'm not bowled over by this at all. I'm not getting any enjoyment out of that. It's just weak, insipid flavours. Now don't get me wrong, it's not the worst Belgian beer I have tasted, but it's on the way, if you know what I mean. It's a typical, for example, the Leffe stuff. It's reminded me of that. Cheap ingredients thrown together under the guise of a Belgian beer, and yeah, the result is a very, very unsatisfactory beer, if you know what I mean. Oh no, disappointing. Not impressed with that at all. So what's the verdict on Ciney Bruin? I don't like it. It's cheap. It tastes as similar to the Leffe stuff. The Leffe Bruin was very much like that. It was just macro brewed. It had a syrupy style flavour. The sugar in it, or the sweetener in it, was glucose. It wasn't the candy sugar that you get that gives it a nice carbonation, re-fermentation in the bottle. God, excuse me, it is carbonated, I will say that. And altogether, it just leaves me very, very deflated with what this is. Now, this is a 250ml bottle, and that cost me £2.49 from Beers of Europe. And yeah, that's £2.49 wasted, because that's going to go down the sink. If you are a viewer in the United States or Canada, you will pay £6.49 or $6.49 for that. My advice is fucking well don't, because you will be, if you think this is a taste of Belgium, you are very much mistaken. It's not. This is the taste of cheap ingredients in a macro brewed beer under the guise of being a Belgian style Bruin. It is not nice. I don't like it. It's not authentic. It is nowhere near as good as some of the Belgian Bruins that I've tried. And my advice to you would be to save your money, because this ain't good. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10. And I'm not going to recommend it. It's cheap, yeah, but you get what you pay for with this. And no, actually you don't. You get ripped off. Because £2.49, in my opinion, is £2 too much for this. I'm not impressed with it at all. So it's going to get a 2 out of 10. And yeah, just avoid and don't make the mistake I made. And remember, I'm drinking this shit so you don't have to.